Hello friends, and welcome back to Stories About Entitled People. Let's start our video with a story about relatives that even the enemy would not wish, because demanding money from a person who already has a lot of problems in his life is the last thing to do. But before we begin, don't forget to subscribe to our channel if you're new here, and turn on notifications so you don't miss a new video every single day. Here we go. Beggar Aunt. I'm severely hard of hearing. Since without listening devices, all I get out of anyone is faint vowels, I decided I'm going to bite the bullet and get myself hearing aids. I saved up for a year just to be able to get the hearing aids, paying for what my insurance wouldn't cover. So my hearing was checked once again, the hearing aids were fitted, even did real ear measurement, which still doesn't help too much for me, but I make do. I hear so much more now than before. I posted on Facebook about how much my life has improved and how I'm so happy to be able to take part in vocal conversations without needing so much signing. In comes my aunt, completely livid that I had the audacity to buy hearing aids for a grand total of $2,800, including what my insurance paid into it, and how one of my cousins are having a hard time with paying rent and going to university, and how I should have offered them the money first, and that I'm a disrespectful, unloving, uncaring piece of inconsiderate crap for not thinking about my cousin going through a hard time and how he could have really been helped out of a major slump for that money. Let's rewind about 4 years. I save up money to get a pair of eyeglasses for my prescription. My insurance pays for the eye doctor's vision test and all that jazz, and up to $100, but my prescription makes my glasses a bit more expensive. I'm near legally blind. Double whammy, I know. Left eye is blind, though. Total for my glasses comes to $244. Show off that I got new glasses, and my aunt rants about how I'm selfish for not offering to help her and my cousins, blah, blah, blah. Let's rewind 2 years prior to this. I've been saving money to get a pair of hearing aids, but my insurance wouldn't cover, I would have to out of my own pocket. I have it saved up, and I post on Facebook that tomorrow's the day I get fitted for hearing aids. Finally have the money. My aunt messages me on Facebook, apparently having an emergency. This seems to happen a lot with her. Weird. She asked to borrow the money for a couple of months and will have it paid back in full. I reluctantly loan her the money. I never see the money. 5 months down the line, I ask her about the money and she tells me it was a gift and had no intention on repaying a gift. She then blocked me as well as my cousins blocking me. They only unblock me to ask for money or chew me out for not checking in to make sure they don't need the money I saved up. The saddest part of all this? Even my oldest brother did the same thing. Only calls when he wants money, and now I'm dead to him for some reason and considered the black sheep of the family. F me for taking care of my own disability so that I can socially function without requiring tactile signing and plain signing. I've since blocked them and all their phone numbers. Know what my aunt really needed the money for? The first time it was because she was short on money because she was remodeling her kitchen. The second time was because one of my cousins wanted to get a video game console and a bunch of games. Found this out by my black sheep of an uncle. And the third time was literally so my cousin going through university could have extra money because he blew a good portion of his student loans on a car, new computer, and a PS4, and didn't have enough money left over to buy the books for his classes. The reason my oldest brother wanted money? Always something new. Oh, I don't have enough food to last me till my next check, or I need gas to be able to get back and forth to work. Like, dude, you work for $17 an hour working 50 hours a week. How the ever-living F can you not feed yourself and put gas in your effing car? After having blocked them on the web and my phone, my life is so much better. 2 birds with 1 stone. I can see better, I can hear better, and I don't have nagging harpies screeching about how they could have benefited from the money I'd saved. Edit. I see one of my cousins, her kid specifically, posting numerous photos of a lavish vacation and/or a new car, new gaming systems, etc., and suddenly, I'm the a-hole for not giving up my savings? I have a relative with brittle bones. The SpongeBob meme where the guy's bones are made of glass and breaks them super easy? Yeah, that's him in a nutshell. He got too fed up with all the crap and went the same route of removing the cancerous relatives from our lives. His quality of life for saving up was a specific make and model chair for better comfort and controls he's already used to, stuff like that. I'll take his word for it being a superior chair. And yes, I'm dead serious. There are people out there like this. I seriously wish I were kidding. You can't pick your family, however, you can choose to have nothing to do with them. Well done in removing toxic people from your life. And our second story. What? There's no elves in the back room? A woman, W, comes into my shoe section in a department store with some friends carrying a wedding dress in a very unique silver gray color. This isn't unusual, as many bride-to-bes would bring in their dresses to find shoes that matched. I spent about 10 or 15 minutes helping her narrow down her selection. She was extremely picky about everything, but it's for her wedding, so whatever. She narrowed it down to 3 different pairs, but none of them matched what she wanted exactly. She and her friends were comparing the shoes and what they liked about each. One was the right color, one was the right heel height, and one had the best style. They stood in my section for almost an hour comparing these shoes. I would check on them, offer small opinions, then leave them to further discussions. By this point, I'm pretty tired of these women taking up my entire section, but what can you do? Coming by yet again, the bride's now very frustrated. I ask if there's anything I can do. W. Yes, I need you to go in the back and make this shoe, holds up good style shoe, this color, holds up good color shoe, and if possible, switch out this heel. Me. Pardon? W. My friend had a great idea. Just use the dye for that shoe on this one. Me. Oh, I'm sorry, but we can't dye any of the shoes. Friend. What? Of course you can dye shoes. Me. Yes, some shoes can be dyed. This one, good style, actually can be dyed, but W. So do it. And I want this heel. Holds up shoe with good heel. Me. We get shipments of shoes? We don't actually make them here on site. Friend. You just admitted these can be dyed. Me. Yes, by you at home. We don't have any ability to do anything you're asking here in the store. Friend. This is such terrible service. It's clear you're just lazy. Go in the back and do what we asked or we're complaining to your manager. I'm done by this point. These are $25 shoes in a big department chain. This is not even a nice department store and they're asking for custom shoes? Me. Let me see what I can do. So I walked to the back room where my manager was and loudly yelled, "Hey, are the shoe elves back from vacation?" My manager, who was very cool and understanding, looked at me bewildered. Me. So, no shoe elves? None? Manager. Huh? And I walked back out and shrugged to the women. Me. No luck. They stared at me for a good minute in stunned silence before clucking angrily among themselves and leaving. They ended up calling my manager, who told them they were idiots, essentially. And our last story. Neighbor invades my private property, destroys landmark tree, and pays $80,000. I have always thought that I had only 2 experiences with entitled parents. But as I went back in, kindergarten, I realized I've met a lot more EPs than I thought. Since this happened a very long time ago, I've asked as many people from the time it happened as I could to remember the situation. Although with my efforts, I'm not a memory card, and not all of the story will be in perfect detail. Cast. Me is me. Satan's cousin is entitled dad. Entitled kid is EK. Grandma is GM. It all started when I was going to America. My grandparents live there in Minnesota and enjoy their home on private property. Private. They have a huge amount of area, including a hiking trail to a river with a gravel bar. Kayaks are allowed, though, and you can camp on the gravel bar, but it's not okay. Although there's a huge amount of property, there are property lines with another neighbor. This is entitled Dad. He's often been spotted trespassing, but Grandma does nothing about it. Entitled Dad was very picky to the point where he would cut his grass with a damn razor blade to make sure it was all level. Not really, but you can imagine. Entitled Dad had near his property line a gazebo house type thing where people would often get drunk and crap like that. He would often ask us to plant a bunch of trees at the edge of the property line, which when we would refuse, he would often go into a rage and smash his things in his house. He had an ex-wife who occasionally came over and told us this. She's friends with Grandma. Entitled Dad had no mental illness, but was crazy. Now here's where the story starts. Entitled Dad would cut down trees from our property to my grandma not noticing so that it looked better. I would always notice. There was a fence up and he was always destroying it to get to the property. Because my grandma's so sweet, she often never reports them since they never go over there that often. The reason why I did is that the tree was a landmark tree near his property line, which I was leading a small water source from a river to make a beautiful scene. My grandma was encouraging of this and she very much liked the look. I'm not really sure what type of tree or anything that much about it, only that it was beautiful and a landmark tree. I would always come by day after day, and each time trees would go down, often until there were about one line of trees until the landmark tree. He cut down many trees and got hefty fines, even though Grandma never reported. I think Entitled Dad wanted to ask Grandma to plant flowers there in the space, and if she didn't, he would throw the seeds there. It all went effing crazy when I woke up to the sound of a chainsaw in the far distance. I dressed and ran to catch Entitled Dad in the act since I never saw him. As I walked up, this is the following conversation I think I remember. Entitled Dad, "Kid, get away, you might be crushed." Me, speechless. Entitled Dad, "Kid, what the hell are you doing?" Knowing what he was cutting, the landmark tree, Entitled Dad had stopped cutting to push me out when he heard EK. "Dad, why'd you stop cutting?" This is all I remember. I think EK was actually in high school. I'm pretty sure that the people at the gazebo were her friends. Entitled Dad, "I'm so sorry, honey. I'll cut it." The dad was entitled, but I think controlled by his kid since he didn't want to lose her in child custody. He was way too nice to her. If she wanted a new car, boom, new car. He was fairly rich, so he could pay most fines he was given. As I'm in shock, I see the landmark tree falling towards me. I run out of the way, and Entitled Dad says, Entitled Dad, "What the F? You'll get me arrested! Get out now!" I did and told Grandma. I have no memory, and nobody else does except for Grandma, slightly. She ended up taking him to court. She doesn't remember it all, but that he got charged for, guess what? Child endangerment and fines up to $20,000 for it being a landmark tree. He ended up being fined for all the other trees, which ended up adding up to about $80,000. Most of this isn't accurate at all, but a general idea of what happened that day. Hopefully it doesn't sound too wonky and is good for your guys' reading. $80K, even if he was rich, that's still a lot. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.